On three. 1, 2, 3. For the hall.
For the hall?
Here we are.
Here we are. We're the Hall of
For
Heroes.
the hall.
Here we are.
Here we are. For the hall.
For the hall. So we're back.
We are back.
We've
It's been a
been
bit of a hiatus.
we've been missing for a minute.
Yeah. So much technical issues that we've come across. Yeah.
Yeah.
A whole hour-long episode last week that just didn't save at all.
Yeah, I think it was 21 of 51 minutes actually made it. And the 21 minutes that we did get, we didn't get really any of the audio video.
Choppy, the audio was horrible.
Yeah,
We
everything was
wouldn't
just
subject you
bad.
to that amateur hour.
Which I'm really sad about because I had a really cute pirate outfit on and it looked great.
Great. Nah.
Yeah,
So,
but still.
yeah, it's been a couple of really busy weeks.
As I say, why have we been missing, Ramsey?
I don't know. I decided I was going to release a book. We had a murder mystery event that was based in the storyline of one of these sections of the book.
Yeah. And like we said, technical issues. So it's been a busy couple
It's been pretty
weeks.
crazy. Just nonstop, one thing after another.
Yeah. Because it was what? I think it was about a month or two ago that we started hinting around the idea of turning the seasons into a book. Or I guess it wasn't even, because it was really quick that it happened. It really wasn't even that long ago. I think probably maybe a month ago, tops.
Yeah, about a month ago, I looked at you and I was like, so I'm not going to be able to release my book because I've already written book 2. Stay tuned. We will give you info on that when it gets ready to be released. But no, because I'd written book 2 in its entirety, or so I thought, because now that I've gone through and done some rewrites and editing,
Yeah.
I've essentially doubled the length of it.
It's taken it from what, 250 to almost
Oh,
5?
no, it was 362 pages.
Okay.
And, oh man, there's still like 150-ish pages that I still have to edit, and we're already at 514 last I left off.
Oh my goodness.
So it's easily going to be a 600 or 700 page book at this rate.
So while you were writing out that book, I think you and I had both been talking over the last few
Well,
months of the idea of you turning it into a
because
book.
it just felt weird releasing a story halfway into it.
The original seasons is what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, because there's no point in releasing the story of Hall of Heroes halfway into the story. So I decided, okay, we're going to go back and collect all of the past seasonal narratives, and I'm going to rewrite them actually as a novel as fast as humanly possible.
Which wasn't that hard because you had already had the basis of the story put together.
Yeah.
It was something that we'd been
was just-
posting on our site and we'd been releasing
Yeah.
weekly. You'd had a bunch of future seasons written out and everything too.
It was more or less, I got to the point where, like, I just added a little more dialogue, cleaned up the narrative, made the scenes a little more descriptive at your request, because when you had been reading the original seasons, you got a little lost here.
We didn't know anybody would because you didn't provide any detail. And that's because of the way they were written.
Yeah.
Because like we've said is that they were originally social media posts that then we kind of
It was
comboed.
essentially like my fantasy blog that I was writing for Hall of Heroes each week.
Yeah. I just got lost because again, like I came in and I didn't know anything about the hall, which a lot of people would. When they come in, they might not know anything about us at all.
Which is fair.
Or the past, future, anything.
Yeah. It was like 2.5 years of narrative that you dove into.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And again, it's because like when I first read it too, it was in its rawest form.
Yeah.
When you had literally just taken all the social media posts and dumped them into a Word file. And I just read them. And we put the first few, I can't remember if we started with just the first 4 seasons that we put up because it was up to the season of the Raven.
Yeah, we put the first 4 Hunter, Raider, Wayfinder, and Sorceress up on the website first.
Yeah.
And then as I was writing Season of the Raven last fall, that was when you started adding them, like the weekly post to the website.
Yeah, and I feel like that was like, the hall had a purpose that you had built. Like you had a point and then it died, like it does in the story.
Yep.
And it's reborn into
Well,
something
that's
new.
really one of the fun parts about the story is the whole storyline is based on real events
Yeah.
in such a abstract kind of way
I
because every character has some sort of narrative backdrop that mirrors them as a person in real life, which is amusing.
and I feel like that you do that intentionally, but then somehow it also ends up being unintentionally, like things come true. Like
Unintentionally prophetic, like the
right.
actual burning of the hall at
Like
the end
the
of
hall burns
Season
in
of
the
the
story and
Sorceress.
then it burns in real life. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay. And then we brought it back from the ground better than ever. And that's how it was in the story
it's
too.
honestly
So
crazy how that all worked itself out in a really weird way. It works. I'm not mad about it.
yeah, so we had been like chit-chatting about it, but then I think you just, what was it, about a few weeks ago, you're like, you know what?
Yeah, I was over it. I'm like, okay, it's happening.
I'm doing it. Yeah, because I think that's what it was. It was about a month ago. You were like, all right, I'm rewriting, not rewriting it. Because again, the whole basis was there. It was like, you just had to add to.
It was a rewrite. It was a second draft.
Yeah.
Is the best way to think of it. Because I took the original, which technically, if you're on our YouTube channel, you can listen to the audiobook format of the original writing of the story, which I thought was cool as hell to begin with. But then you kept bringing me these questions about the narrative, and I'm like, I had a lot of plot holes in the first year of the storyline because essentially I was going into work, started setting up my bar, and within 30, 40 minutes of having my bar set up, I would just type out the weekly hall post. So if I had customers coming in, that post got real short, and I didn't really get to fully flesh out the story the way I wanted to, more often than not. So to be able to go back and take the premise of what the narrative was supposed to be and properly break it down in a way that actually feels like you're reading a story instead of a disjointed blog.
Yeah, and because that's the funny part is every time I would ask questions, you would already have the answer. You'd be like, oh yeah, this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, cool.
That's
Why
also-
didn't you write that in? And then you explain that. And I was like, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So at least that's why I say too, it wasn't hard for you to just write all the info in.
I just jumped in and
because you already have it.
Realistically, the original posts were just the outline for what the story ended up becoming for the book.
Yeah.
Because we had, like I said, we had a year's worth of story before Season of the Raven. And then that's where things started ramping up. And even Season of the Raven in this rewrite, I fleshed that out even more. Probably added about another 40 pages of story to that one.
Yeah.
So that one turned out really good too. And then we get into Season of the Pack, which for everyone that's been here for a little while and has at least read the story
especially everybody
online.
who was here last season, because Season of the Pack launched and was inspired by last year's events.
Yeah. And that was really where I started considering myself actually an author.
Yeah.
Because Season of the Pack is where I actually started fleshing out a storyline, going into deeper plot with the characters and taking my title character, Kurvka, down a pretty dark path of his own.
Yeah.
Which I had a lot of fun writing. Because a lot of that, like I said, everything is written based on reality. So I got to play with some psychological metaphors in the story, which is cool.
And it's fun being able to bring that in, and I don't know, I'm sure it's therapeutic in one way too.
Yeah. Although it is weird when we have those situations like Season of the Sorceress where I write it and then a month later in reality something happens that is exactly like it. And I'm worried. I'm like, no,
we're not going to
I
think
am
about
not Chuck from Supernatural. Damn it.
I am not.
Yeah, that was definitely some wild experiences, but it made for a good story.
And that's where, again, like it all led to this big buildup of then we weren't really sure, like when the hall burned, we came together, we rebuilt it, we were sitting there at the foundation, like, okay, we know our passions. We know you're the passionate writer, storyteller, dungeon master, all of that info. just all the info you could ever
I'm the
need.
charisma build character, and you're the intelligence build character.
Or I'm the graphics, I'm the design, I'm the all of that.
The
like,
techie back end.
Yeah. So
Everything that looks cool, all of the cool videos, all of the cool designs is her.
yeah, it's a 2-man team here. I don't know if a lot of people know that.
No,
Really,
no,
too,
they
of
really
the Hall
don't.
of Heroes, that it's just the two of us that run this entire thing. Everything you see, all of it, it's either him or me.
Yep.
That are doing.
We have some pretty awesome help through the core crew of the Hall.
Yeah, we've got some great crew members that come and volunteer for like our events and help us out, and a couple people that have helped us out with like photos and videos, like Hamat and Tracy are two that, you know, do really well and help me out, making sure I get to be in the videos and photos sometimes too.
Otherwise, you're the one behind the camera being like, hey, wow, that looks like a lot of fun, guys. Wish I could be in there.
It wasn't, it's funny. It's every time I do any of our recap videos of last year, you can tell when we started realizing that I'm in none of the videos, because it's 4 weekends in until we finally started getting some shots of me.
That was pretty, yeah, I remember that, because that was around the time that Hamat came the first time, and then he
took photos.
He took right over, because there's a reason why he's called the capturer of memories in our Hall of Heroes group chat.
Yeah.
Which, you know, he's definitely been the photographer. Gosh, he actually did a promo video for Hall of Heroes back in 2022, that December. He actually shot a Hall of Heroes promo video for the bar that we were originally doing this at.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's crazy how long I've known Habant. He's been subject to my cruel dungeon master fuckery for a while. And
just another development from the Hall from back then, when you were specifically advertising for one specific venue, and here we are. We've rebuilt the Hall, and we host in multiple venues now. We're not limited to one venue. Can't go anywhere. If you know a venue that might want to have a Hall of Heroes event,
have garb, will travel.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really interesting just seeing everything develop from that. And it really has proved a lot of great inspiration for writing the story. Like I said, with Season of the Raven, we essentially rebuilt the Hall from the ground up all over again, which I believe in the Hall storyline, the Hall has burnt. I'm not going to give too many spoilers for the second book. So we're going to say 2 times in the first book. Yeah, twice in the first book. And we're not going to talk about book 2 yet. But some fun things do.
I gotta reread. See, I'm really excited that we finally got a copy, which I will show in a second, of our book.
Yep.
Or you can show. What's your book? Ta-da!
It's such a soft cover.
Yeah, no, it really is.
I love the filmy resin on the book.
And it's thick. It's thick, but it's good. Again, cover designed by me, photo done by Jay
Sly.
Jay Sly, yeah. Love him. He takes literally every good photo of me at Run Fair ever.
I mean, same.
Every single one.
Same. Even if you look on the back, the author photo
is his,
one that he did.
Is his too. So we took just a photo that he had taken, and
you worked your graphic
magic. I did some work to it and added some fun stuff. And so this is the first of probably many with your writing. Honestly, that's what I was saying earlier, though, is that I'm like, you are insanely fast at writing, and you already have this whole idea of this world.
I might as well put my insomnia to good use.
Yeah, you are up all the time in the
middle
of
the hours, all of the nights. So and that's really how it all started. In fact, in the foreword of the book, I believe I personally thank you for putting up with me, waking you up at 4 a.m. every night with my phone in your face. Hey, read this chapter. Can you read this chapter?
Yeah. You do. That is the thing. That has happened to me. In fact, that just happened recently. Literally like a week ago, I woke up I was like, God, what am I reading now? Because it takes me a second for my eyes to focus even. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, because like I said, going through and doing the reread of book 2, taking the original first draft of it, which few of our friends have proofread for me, and they love the original version, but now I can't wait to have McCole do it.
I was like, but big shout out to McCole, because she is really awesome about not holding back and actually like coming through and being like, yeah, Instead of just like fluffing you and being like, oh,
This
it's
is just a
great,
great
it's
book. No, she's
wonderful.
given me like spots where she's like, can you explain this a little better because I feel a little lost? And I'm like, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. And it's good to have multiple people read that too and
Yeah.
then give you those questions. And so that's why it was good that I was reading it, she was reading it, and we had a couple other people
Mhm.
reading it too.
Oh, we had
And
Seamus and Ruben reading it.
yep, yep. They're in the story. I would
I
hope they
feel
would
like
read it.
Seamus suffered almost as much as you did because the second I was done writing whatever chapter for book 2, I immediately just sent it to him on Facebook Messenger. I'm like, hey, check this one out. And then I'd wake you up and be like, okay, hey, I need you to read this real quick.
And then I'd make you read it. Just make sure somebody else had to approve first.
Okay. Our Dwarven Pound Cake approves. Now it's your turn. But yeah, it's been a lot of writing.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
then,
and I'm already, I want to say maybe a third into book 3, at least in the first draft. I'm a workaholic when it comes to this, I guess.
but yeah, so tell us, what would you tell somebody that has never seen a Hall of Heroes item in their life that this book is about? What
So
would you
that
say?
book is a first-person POV narrative of the title character Kurvka,
Dun, dun, dun.
and it's basically the adventures of me and our real life friends seen through his eyes in a fantasy world.
And what kind of fantasy world is that?
It's the steampunk fantasy world that I've spent a lot of time perfecting for my homebrew tabletop.
Now, is the whole world fantasy, or is just the capital is fantasy or steampunk? The whole world is the whole world steampunk, or is it just there's a section
two
and then there's
factions are steampunk based, and then the rest is pretty high fantasy.
okay.
It's one of those things where the rest of the world is fighting against the progress of this kingdom, and I think you've experienced it in a few of our campaigns where everybody's trying to topple this kingdom because what they're doing is maddening
Because they're doing like science experiments,
on people.
but it's like fantasy style
Yeah.
science
Well,
experience. So it's not just,
it's more steampunk. Like it's got the steampunk fantasy element to it where like
but
you
it's got a
think
magical element. Is I guess it's not just
Yeah.
like straight science. So
Yeah.
it's got magic.
some of it's borderline horror themed. Like you've got a little bit of alchemy involved. So you've got like a bit of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde vibe to things.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of mutations that occur to some poor souls that find themselves in a bad way.
Ooh.
Of course, necromancy, because zombies are fun.
Yeah. What's a book without necromancy?
Yeah. Is it even a fantasy novel in this day and age if you don't have zombies and skeletons and crazed necromancer shamans and liches and everything? Yeah, it's pretty fun. And it really did set the basis for what I said is going to be book 2 now. This is where it all started as far as where I wanted to take the overall story for Hall of Heroes.
Yeah, I
Because
think the only other thing that you had said you wanted to do was maybe like an overview side book of the gods that are in the book because every time you've explained that to me, that's been really cool.
We're going to have to talk about that after book 3 comes out, because that's when
Oh boy.
that's when the spoilers are really in there. And wow, I'm going to have to pull a J.R. Tolkien and do my version of a Silmarillion for this world to explain 8,000 plus years of history for everything that has built up the whole mythology of this world, why there's only 2 gods that exist, and then this weird abstract primordial evil that's trapped inside of the moon.
See, it's like the more you explain about it, it's just the more I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and it gets pretty weird. It definitely gets really weird after a while,
Yeah.
but it's fun.
So you took the seasons and you wrote the book, you put it together, and then you were like, what was the process of you deciding, were you of self-publishing or going through something?
Self-published through Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, which
Nice.
was shockingly easier than I thought it was going to be. And
So it's available in paperback, right?
available in paperback that you can order directly on Amazon. It's available on Kindle on Amazon. Or if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. So get your copy today or read it for free on Kindle Unlimited and tell us what you think. We'd
Yep.
love to hear feedback.
Definitely. I'm just more excited for the book to be out there.
Yeah.
Like, I just
Excited that you did turn it into the story because I think, I don't know, I think people are just going to get a better.
I feel like they're going to
hold of it.
resonate with it more.
Yeah.
Because even when we took all the social media posts and compiled them on the website, every time I would read through it, I'd just look at it and think to myself, no, still not good enough.
I just always had questions. That was my thing. And I'm like, if
Mm.
I have questions, then other people are probably going to have questions. So I was happy to hear that you wanted to flesh it out because I have the personal Wikipedia session right here. I can just ask him, but not everybody has that.
Yeah, that's true. But it is nice to have it all in one solidified, condensed form. I can't say condensed because it's significantly expanded, but in a more fluid narrative. The
Yeah.
story actually feels like a story now.
Yep.
And I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah. So again, if you haven't already, get your copy today. And a big thank you to everybody who has purchased their book already.
Well, the support has been incredible. The amount of people that have just come out of the woodwork, people that a lot of people I haven't even talked to in years that just hit me up on social media. They're like, dude, you put out a book. That's awesome. And I'm like, wow, this is great. Should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good to finally get the recognition that you want and deserve.
And that's the weird thing is even when I was writing it, even when we got to Season of the Pack, I didn't really know if I would ever get to the point where it's, I'm going to write this as a book and I'm going to sell it.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about it a little bit here and there, but I didn't really think anybody would be interested in it.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they're starting to get interested in it. And it's been
It's
going
'cause
really
it's a
good.
story and people like it.
And it's a pretty good story. It's our story.
It's our story.
And I do mean that, ours. All of the people in Hall of Heroes are essentially represented as a character in the story.
And
it's funny because especially when you look at the characters for Elrandor and Siegfried and Ilva and you, everybody I wrote you in a fantasy novel. Like your mannerisms, your quirks. Elrandor is just a sassy.
Elrandor's so
He's
sassy.
so sassy.
And he's so sassy in real life too.
Yeah.
Sassafras.
Which is fun. We love him for it. It's highly entertaining.
No, and Elva's just a big goof. We love our Elva.
She's the best proofreader I've had. Called me out on some writing inconsistencies.
So yeah, get your copy online, and otherwise we'll be just doing our events. We just had
Echoes of the Fallen Blade, the murder mystery, which took place in part of the storyline for Season of the Raider, which is chapter 2 of the book.
So no spoilers. If you don't want me, don't listen further. But in part of the book,
I die.
Yeah. And you had said there's a spot technically where.
So in the original version of it, there was a blank spot.
A blank spot, yeah.
But I wrote it out in the novel.
Yeah.
To where everything that I had planned for the murder mystery played along with the events of the novel.
Gotcha.
So it was a blast to actually make everybody play out something. And the funny thing is, there's a few people that didn't get to make it for the murder mystery, but I know that they'd read the book up to that point. So if they would have been there, they would have actually known who the killer was, how everything played out, who's to blame, how I died, who orchestrated it all.
So we're trying to bring the storytelling to life then too.
Yeah.
So that was our first exclusive. It was very limited tickets to be able to come to.
Dragonfly and Birch and Meryl, the owner, for housing our silly group of bastards in her establishment.
We had a lot of fun though. It was really fun. We worked with, so we partnered with them as a venue, and then we partnered with a little diner down the street who made some medieval stew for us and
Yep.
some homemade bread and everything.
Oh, everybody loved that bread.
Yeah, it was really good. Even I got to try a little taste. And then we're still eating the dessert that they gave us too because it's really good.
And, like, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun to actually act out part of a story that that I've especially become so very intimate with lately after rewriting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So going through and actually getting to be a part of that, playing myself as the ghost haunting the Hall of Heroes Tavern.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it gives me a little inspiration for something we might do in October for a Halloween murder mystery.
Yeah, because so that's going to be so we're not doing any more murder mysteries for the rest of the year, probably outside of maybe doing one in October. So stay tuned on that front. But
and we've done a lot of murder mysteries in the past 6 months, and
we've done a few of them.
I need a break.
Yeah, and I think it's too. Is we're taking a little bit of again, the hall is growing again. When we came together, the hall was coming together in one space, and business grows.
Yep.
Everything grows in different directions sometimes, and that's just, I think, where we're headed.
Well, we've got a lot of different things going on. We've got a lot of vendor events coming up. We've got fair season around the corner, so we're going to be out in the wilds for everybody to come and see in person.
Yeah.
Pretty much for the rest of the summer, so.
Yep, we'll be out and about at different fairs and whatnot and everything. But we will still be having our own events each and every month. Like we've got we've talked about it, but we've got the May the 4th event that's coming up in 2 weeks here.
Yep.
And then in June for Father's Day, we will be having an Assassin's Guildhall gathering.
Yep. Which,
with vendors.
to clarify for people, it's not specifically just for the Assassin's Guild.
Yeah.
The way I want to do it is I want it to be a pre-Ren Fair season, just meet and greet for anyone that's in a guild, anyone that's interested in joining one of the guilds at Ren Fair, or if you just want to come out and wear your garb and hang out and
have fun.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Yep. We'll have some vendors there. We'll have some fun.
It's Father's Day, and as a father, I say that there's nothing more that I would want to do on Father's Day than dress up like this and go be a nerd with my friends.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So we'll be hanging out that day for that.
Yep.
And then we have it on the website and we'll be officially announcing it soon. But we do have a July pirate party that we're really excited for as well. That's going to be fun. And plus, we've got a couple other things in the works in the back end. So more to come.
Yeah, it's great. It's been a pretty busy year. A lot of events back to back. And it's been just great with the amount of support we've been getting from the community, from our vendors, from the venues even.
Yeah.
Like, it's just been amazing so far.
Apologies to the vendors that I haven't sent out a feedback form yet. We immediately, after the event, lost the ability to send out email blasts, and I've been working with our system ever since. I will still be sending that out, but
support has not been gentle with you.
No, it's been horrible. So I am still working on that, and you'll get more information from us soon. And we thank you for working with us.
Oh, yes. Without the vendors, we wouldn't really have vendor events.
No, we wouldn't.
That's logic 101.
And temporarily for now, otherwise, to stay up to date on all stuff, you're gonna have to just keep an eye out. Stay up to date on Facebook for our events. We keep everything updated on our website.
Instagram, even TikTok.
Yep. We just hit 1,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
I know that number isn't a lot to a lot of people, but it's a lot to us.
What, a month and a half ago, we only had 300?
I was like, I think it's a little over 2 months now, but yeah, about 2.5 months ago, we started trying to be better about posting consistently. And we've gotten us from 300 to 1,000 followers now. So that's pretty exciting.
Yep. Thank you, everyone that's following us and keeping up with all of our goofy shenanigans.
Our nerd weirdness.
Join us.
And I promise I will so excited summer's coming because I'm trying to change up the content and make sure that we're posting the different stuff and whatnot. But we have posted a lot of the stuff that we used from last year already. So I am definitely very much looking
It's time to
forward.
get more footage, yeah.
Yeah.
We need new material.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because we're going to have a blast this year
Oh, yeah.
with filming, with everything. Because we've got a ton of different places we're planning on.
Yeah.
We had talked
Ton of
about
different
going.
places to go, bunch of fairs.
Mhm.
Not to mention my evil mastermind genius has come along and made a new Ren Fair game for us to play.
Yes.
So we're going to be utilizing that this year. And I honestly just can't wait because that's, you know me, Murph is home.
Yeah. Murph has always been home. And I'm just glad that I found someone who agrees.
You got lost along the way, but eventually you found me.
I did. It's fine. Directionally challenged, you know this.
It's true. For those of you that don't know, we're gamers. And over the winter, this one got a little hooked on Diablo 4. So as I'm showing her the ropes and I'm trying to be like, hey, come this way. You're like, where's this way? And I'm like, northeast. What's northeast?
And you're like, look at a map. And I was like, I have a map.
There's maps in this game? Yeah, there's whole ass world maps. You can teleport to every city.
You got to learn.
True.
To be fair, though, too, this is going to be terrible for me to admit, but I did legitimately think Ann Arbor was west.
I thought you said you thought it was north of here originally.
Was it north?
Yeah, you thought
It was, I was like, it's either north or west. It was the complete
definitely south.
opposite of where it actually
1,000% south of here. Yep. And that's highly entertaining.
I just don't know where things are. I go by landmarks. That's my
True.
thing is I'm like,
I've seen how you drive,
oh,
and now it suddenly makes more sense why you make me drive.
I don't like driving. I wish public transportation was just a thing, like how subways and all of that was just a thing in New
Or
York.
just get out on this teleportation technology.
Well, that would be great.
I
Come
just
on.
want to hit smoke bomb.
Yeah, I just want to be able to, or
I can do it in the story. I'm offended that I can't do it in real life.
you can teleport in the story.
Short distances. Or shadow step.
Is that what you do with your
Yeah.
little scarf? You go
Yeah. Oh,
teleport.
this is the main character of the storyline now because somebody
Okay, so
Something had
no,
an issue
no,
when we first
no,
met.
it wasn't an issue. You keep saying that, and it's not what happened. I didn't understand it. Again, I'm an old Rennie, and it's like we're real garb, and real garb are peasant tops, corsets, and the skirts, and the guys wear a peasant top and or leather. That's what you wear. So I was like, okay, your whole aesthetic makes sense because you had the whole leather. But to me, I'm like, you have this whole leather armor set and then you're wearing a scarf and it's 100 degrees outside. Why are you wearing a scarf? Like, what? And I get it more now that I have played more of the fantasy games and stuff like that because it's aesthetically what they do. It still doesn't make sense to me because it really
But
doesn't
also,
do anything.
If you're a nomad in a desert, guess what? You're not breathing sand anymore.
I guess that is true. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't get it at first. It wasn't I didn't like it, is I didn't get it. But
So
now
to
in the
rectify
book,
that, I made the scarf
the
very
scarf
prominent
is like-
and detailed in its every movement in spite of her.
I really hope you turn it into Doctor
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange's cloak. Yeah. Like I really hope you turn it into that.
Magically enchanted to gain consciousness.
Well, yeah, it's got to be funny. Like it's got
Because
you've got to. It would be so funny.
technically in tabletop role playing, that does count as a shoulders or neck slot for a magic item. So yeah, we could make that an actual magical item in the story.
I think you should because I think it would be hilarious. And then I'll become best friends with it. And if you ever piss me off, I'll make it strangle you.
That doesn't do you any good.
Why? I could bring you back to life. I'm a spirit walker.
Can you though?
I do what I want.
Wait till book 3.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. So a lot of crazy fun events and just life events that have been happening. So
Yeah.
that's why it's been a little hectic. We missed a couple weeks of episodes, which we apologize for, but
Yeah, the
now that
first
I
week.
think we got our sound and video situation rectified,
Yeah.
I think life is going to be a lot better. Because the last episode we did, I don't know what happened, but we had some crazy echo on the mics.
Yeah.
And we just needed
We've
to get
been
that
dealing with
sorted
an
out.
echo, which we weren't sure if that was the staircase or I think it was the program that we were using to record in.
Yeah.
So we finally figured out a new program. We've done a lot of different troubleshooting, we've changed out so many different things, cameras, microphones, like everything. Like,
So
well, I
many
think we
different times over.
finally have a setup that works. It's going to be good going
Well,
forward.
and finally, for once, it's noticing both of our microphones.
Yeah.
As opposed to one of us is working and then one of us just has to talk louder because one of the mics just isn't being picked up by the computer for whatever reason.
Yeah, for some reason.
But hey, we got a new server tower.
Because that's the thing is, the people who are doing the one-person podcast, so easy. So easy to set up. No big deal. If you want to do a one-person podcast,
we're not
you
really
could
a
do it.
one-person podcast. It's more like when they do the call-in ones where it's
No, I'm
Zoom
talking
call.
just because there's just one-person podcast where people just
just talk.
Yeah, they're just talking. I'm just talking. Yeah, I'm talking that. But then there's also the Zoom ones, the corporate podcasts, that kind of thing. Those are also easy technically to do.
So much easier than what we do.
This,
with 2 mics
like having
side by
two
side.
microphones and a camera and like trying to set all that up, that's a pain in the ass. So apparently, which neither one of us knew. Because I was like, we have the podcast equipment. I have a Canon camera. There should be no reason why we can't set this up super easily and just do a podcast.
Yeah.
So we set it up. But it's been every single week. It's been something.
It's like one setting gets tweaked and we're like, why isn't that working now? That was working just fine.
Yeah. But we
Like,
also were busy. We also had the week that 2 weeks ago, you had finally just decided you're hemming and hawing. You're like, do I just launch it? Do I not? And you're just like, you know what? I'm doing it.
Yeah,
and that was
'cause,
like,
I mean,
we went
you
full
thought
focus
that I
into
should have
that.
waited to release book 1 until the summer initially.
I guess I was just trying to think of some like marketing ideas, that kind of thing, make a plan, but
I don't make
plans don't
I
work.
just
Yeah.
do. You know, I am in fact an agent of chaos, and nothing works unless I just jump the gun and be like, "Hey, we're doing this." You're like, "So
There's no point in waiting either. That's the
Yeah.
other thing too, is the story's already written. It's ready to go.
throw it
It's
out there."
it's out there now. You know, you can read it, and now we can work on book 2. And
Which
whatnot,
book 2
so.
is I'm way more proud of book 2 than I am book 1. As weird as it is to say that while I'm sitting here trying to promote, book 1 is a necessary evil to get to book 2
Yeah.
in my eyes, because the real storyline in my mind is it begins in book 2,
Yeah.
but you don't.
Luckily, book
You
1
wouldn't
is an
know.
easy read.
Oh,
Even you
yeah.
said that earlier.
Yeah, that was actually one thing I noticed, like something about the format of how it printed. It's a page turner.
Yeah.
Like when I finally went through it, actually read the physical copy, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just blew through 70 pages in what felt like an hour
Yeah.
at most.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh. I could definitely do this.
Yeah. So that's good too, because I don't know, me personally, I hate it when writers overcomplicate the writing. It almost feels like they're trying to show off or show that they know how to write better. Easy
Well,
reading to
plus
me is
it's-
almost nicer.
I mean, also to be fair, I was just reading through like Season of the Hunter and Season of the Raider, because even though it's rewritten, it's still a pretty short story for each of the seasons.
Yeah.
Because that was the point.
They're like
For those
chapters,
that
because
don't
it's like a
know,
400-page book.
Hall of Heroes exists in seasonal format in the story. Every 3 months, we would introduce a new season, which was based on one of the characters, based on one of our friends at Hall of Heroes. And that was me just giving back to my friends that supported all the stuff we do for Hall of Heroes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make you famous. I'm going to put you in my book. So that's really how that worked out. So Season of the Hunter, I definitely blew through that, even in the original blog posts for it, because I just wanted to get my character in there so that I could then hurry up and get to everybody else.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of people.
Well, and technically, you did that too with the prelude, which we took down and we didn't even include.
Yeah. That one was less storyline, more promoting a bar. That one didn't really have any true narrative, although it did set the stage for The Apprentice. that I have in
Yeah.
Season of the Hunter, but the way I rewrote it for the book, we left the apprentice where he needs to be in this version.
Yeah.
And I get to kill him. But other than that, yeah, it's just been a lot of writing, a lot of editing, planning for more events. Maybe one of these days I'll actually do a book release party. So keep your eye out for that. I'll sign a copy of Seasons of Dawn for anyone who shows up. So thanks everyone for sticking with us and waiting for 2 weeks for us to get this episode out.
Yes, thank you for your patience. We appreciate you hanging out.
And also we appreciate the comments that we've got from people asking us, when's the next episode coming? When's the next episode coming?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. It means the world knowing that people are still watching this.
Yeah, that we're not making this for nothing.
Exactly. As we'd already said, we have our May the 4th event coming up.
Yep.
Then we have the Assassins Guild Hall Gathering.
Not just for guild members, but
Nope.
we want guild members, anybody who's interested in a guild.
Every group that is involved with Ren Fair.
If you want to garb up, come hang out with the guilds and just
Yep.
see what's going on. We'd love to see that.
If you're interested in joining the Assassins this season, that would be a good time to come
Yep.
and get to know us, because
That would be
I
a
mean,
good
it's
first time, because that's
essentially
probably when we're going to start opening up initiations.
the recruitment for the guild for this season.
Yep.
It's a good pre-season party for us to get to know you.
Yep. And don't worry, our hazing is very light. We just make you kill people.
With clothespins. We may subject you to profane amounts of whiskey, but
Oh, yeah, be prepared for that too. Liquor and mead and beer. It will be involved. Yep.
I'm sorry and you're welcome.
Because as we mentioned earlier, we're also pirates, and we'll be having a pirate party in
Yep.
July. And
Oh,
so,
geez, yeah, that's another thing that's happened this year.
yep.
I'm a captain in the Brethren of the Great Lakes now.
Yeah, which we didn't talk about this episode, but we'll bring it up next episode. We'll
Yep.
go in more details to what that's about and what you can expect from us in future with the Brethren
Yep.
and everything.
And
And
July event.
yeah. And then, like we said, after that, we've got some more fun events possibly planned. We've got some possible book items, book signings of sorts, maybe
Yep.
coming, whatnot.
A release party will be happening later this end of this summer, early
Yep.
fall.
And for those of you curious, yes, we will be doing the black market again this year, the Assassin's Black Market. We do not have anything solidified on it yet, but that will be happening, so keep an ear out.
Because that's just got to be a yearly thing for us. Because we
It's
got
what started everything, and it's
Yep.
honestly, it's the whole reason we started it is to give small
Small
business
businesses, yeah.
a chance on Black Friday, and so we're going to keep doing that. Plus, it's another excuse to garb.
Yeah, it's an excuse to garb and wear all of the fur and cloaks that you don't get to wear
Yes.
during the summer months at Renaissance festivals.
Yep. And otherwise you can subscribe, stay up to date.
Yep.
We're going to be releasing a bunch of new
Click the
stuff.
bell.
And go buy our book on Amazon. Go support this guy.
Yep. And the cool thing is, if you click on the Kindle option, you can read some sample chapters,
Yep.
see if maybe
See if you like
that's
it.
a story that you would like to get into.
And I think where it's on Kindle too, it does have a voice to an
Or
audio,
text to voice,
like a
yep.
text to voice option, so you can listen to it in the car too. So.
Which is definitely my favorite thing to do, is listen to it more
Mhm.
than read it.
Yeah, after we made the audiobooks, I would have to say I'm the same.
It's just fun hearing the story in somebody else's voice.
Yeah.
But again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sticking through this far, waiting 2 weeks for us to get our technical issues and crazy
Getting our
chaotic
shit
life.
together.
But until next time, for the Hall.
For the whole.
Be your inner child. Be the biggest geek you want. We love you for it. Please join us. Come and be geeky with us.
Come be weird with us. It's fine here.